Okay, I want you to picture the most ambitious medical promise you have ever heard in your life.
Right.
Just really think about it. Maybe it's a cure for some specific rare disease,
Uh,
or perhaps a biohack that promises to add, I don't know, 5 or 10 years to the human lifespan. Got it.
mm-hmm.
Now, I want you to take that promise and multiply it by, well, almost infinity.
Yeah, because we aren't talking about adding a decade here.
Not at all.
The documents we're looking at today make a claim that is, honestly, it's genuinely hard to say out loud without pausing to make sure you read it right.
Exactly.
We are looking at a proposal to extend human life not to 100 years, but to 800 years. And if the financial conditions are right, potentially millions of years.
It is a staggering number. And
Oh,
usually, when we see claims like that, immortality, eternal life, we just sort of toss them in the science fiction bin.
or the cult bin.
Right, exactly, and we just move on. But today we are doing a deep dive into a text called Cure for Cancer, the Cure for Death.
Written by a figure named David Gamonza.
Yes. And the reason we're spending time on this today is the sheer density of the world building inside these documents.
That really is the right word for it. World building.
Yeah.
Because this isn't just a medical paper or some supplement brochure. It's a manifesto, a technical manual, a political constitution.
And a religious text.
Exactly, all rolled into one. Gamonza isn't just proposing a drug. He's proposing this tomorrow's world order, where biology, economics, and theology are completely rewritten to support this technology.
And we're going to unpack all of it for you. We need to understand his theory of depletion, which is his explanation for why we actually die.
Mm-hmm.
We need to look at advanced genetic synthesis technology, or AGT, and we definitely need to talk about the part that completely stopped me in my tracks.
The wallet.
The wallets. The claim that every single human being has a cryptocurrency wallet installed inside their body by the creator.
Which supposedly holds a balance of $8.4 trillion.
Reach the casual 8.4 trillion.
Right.
We'll get to the internal body bank a bit later, but let's start with the problem itself.
Okay.
Most of us think of death as this biological inevitability. We age, cells stop dividing, systems eventually fail. It's the second law of thermodynamics, right? Entropy. How exactly does Gamadza frame the problem of mortality?
Well, he frames it as a supply chain issue.
A supply chain issue.
Yeah, that's really the best way to describe it. The text argues that death and disease, even things as complex as cancer, are not these mysterious, unconquerable fates. They are simply the result of running out of gas.
But, running out of gas implies we can just pull over and refill the tank. Biological systems are a bit more complex than a Honda Civic.
In Gamadza's view, though, they really aren't.
Really?
Yeah. His core theory is that at the moment of creation, the human body is stocked with a very specific set of enzymes, proteins, and vitamins. He calls these the building blocks.
Okay.
So as we live, we burn through them. When they run out, we get sick. When they're totally gone, we die. It is a philosophy of finite resources.
It sounds almost too mechanical, like we're just appliances that need a new battery.
He actually leans heavily into that mechanical view. There is this recurring analogy in the text about a car.
Oh, right. I saw that.
He asks, if you have a car and the brake pads wear out, do you scrap the whole car? Do you drive it into a ditch?
Obviously not. You replace the pads.
Right, standard maintenance. But here's the crucial part of his argument. If you replace them with the exact original manufacturer parts, the car runs exactly as it did when it was new.
So the car itself doesn't have an expiration date.
Exactly. Only the parts do.
Right, like you don't put a tractor part in a Ferrari. You need the OEM part.
Precisely. And this is exactly where Gamadza attacks the entire pharmaceutical industry.
How so?
He argues that modern drugs are impure and toxic because they are foreign additives. They aren't the original parts.
Ah, I see.
So he believes that by taking prescription drugs, we're trying to fix a biological machine with the wrong components, which he claims leads to toxicity and actually accelerates death.
So, if modern medicine is the aftermarket junk that ruins the engine, what is the right part? What is this AGT he's selling?
So AGT stands for Advanced Genetic Synthesis Technology. And in the text, it's defined very specifically. It's a collection of 28 main building blocks and 84 subsets.
Okay.
When you break it all down, he lists over 524 specific proteins and enzymes.
That number 524 is surprisingly specific. It doesn't just say around 500.
Yeah.
It implies he has an exact list.
Yes, Gamadza is hyper-specific throughout the whole text. He views AGT as the original equipment manufacturer kit for the human body.
The OEM kit.
Exactly. The claim is that AGT works by replenishing and refilling what is used up. The theory is that if you introduce this specific cocktail into the body, you aren't treating a symptom. You are restocking the warehouse.
And if the warehouse is full, the body has no reason to die.
That's the claim.
Okay, so in this worldview, death is just a depletion error. But let's look at the user experience here, because this isn't just about taking a pill and hoping for the best.
Right.
The text actually includes a guide on how to audit your own mortality. This is the part that felt almost interactive to me when I read it.
Yes, the day method.
Yeah.
And I have to say, in all the documentation we've analyzed across different topics, this is one of the most unique features of a product I've ever seen. It turns death into something you can check, like checking the weather or your bank balance.
Walk us through it, because the text literally tells the reader to perform a test right there on the spot.
It does. The instruction is to sit silently and say to yourself, internally, the word day.
Just day. No incantations, no wires hooked up to your head.
Just the word. And the claim is that, because of the way we are designed, your body will respond. The text says you will intuitively or even audibly hear the exact date of your death.
Honestly, that's terrifying. It's like checking the expiration date on a carton of milk, but the milk is you.
Right.
And honestly, if I tried that and heard a date for next week, I'd probably panic.
It definitely implies a level of communication with our own biology that we just don't have in modern science. But here is the hook, the real sales pitch.
Okay.
You check your date. Let's say it tells you that you're going to die on June 15th, 2040. Then you purchase the AGT cure, you take it, and then you perform the day test again.
And the date changes.
The year changes. Gamadza writes that the day and the month will remain the exact same.
Which is such an odd, specific detail.
It is, but the year will shift forward, and not just by a little. It shifts by a minimum of 800 years.
But there's a catch on that number, isn't there? I remember reading a section that linked the extension length to, was it income?
Yes, this is where the philosophy gets highly controversial. The text explicitly states that it changes the day of death by 800 years to millions, depending on your income and wealth.
Wait, pause on that. So longevity is a luxury product. The richer you are, the longer you live. That just sounds like a dystopia.
Well, we have to remember, in Gamadza's framework, it's not presented as a dystopia. He presents it as a biological reality.
Right, we're just analyzing his view here.
Exactly. There seems to be a fundamental belief in this text that financial value and biological value are linked. He conflates the two. To him, wealth isn't just what you have in the bank. It's a literal reflection of your potential to exist.
Which perfectly brings us to the most baffling part of this entire deep dive. We have to talk about the wallets.
Oh, yes.
When I first read this in the source material, I thought it was a metaphor. You know, like invest in yourself, that kind of motivational thing. But he means it literally, doesn't he?
He means it quite literally. The text claims that inside every human body, there's a pre-installed cryptocurrency wallet. He calls it the Bitcoin 8 wallet, or sometimes the SATA wallet.
Pre-installed hardware, like bloatware on a new laptop, but it's in your spleen.
Installed by the creator, according to Gamadza, at the exact moment of conception. The user manual, if we can call it that, instructs the reader to say, initialize Bitcoin 8 wallet. And the promise is that you will be able to check a balance that somehow exists within your own biology.
And this isn't a piggy bank. We aren't finding loose change in our appendix. The values we're talking about are global GDP levels.
They are astronomical. The text states that a single unit of AGT, specifically the AGT 8000, is valued at 8.4 trillion US dollars.
Trillion.
But here is the shift. When you take the cure, you don't just consume that value, you become that value.
So the human body becomes an asset on the books. I take the drug, and suddenly I am walking around intrinsically worth $8 trillion.
Exactly. Once death is removed, the human being is appraised at $8.4 trillion. The text even refers to AGT as the rich list coin.
The rich list coin.
Yeah, it says the AGT is also known as the rich list coin, as the coin gives you wealth. It's a complete merger of health and net worth. You become the currency.
It's almost hard to wrap your head around the economics of that. If everyone is walking around worth $8 trillion, doesn't that break the economy? A loaf of bread would cost $1 billion.
In our current economy, absolutely. Hyperinflation doesn't even begin to cover it. But remember, Gamadza is building a tomorrow's world order.
Right.
He isn't trying to fit this into the current system. He's proposing a new one where this internal value is the standard. He views the current economic system as just as broken as the medical one.
Let's pivot to that world order then, because Gamazza didn't just write a book. He registered a company and a political party in Britain, right? We saw the registration numbers in the documents.
He did. Tomorrow's world order is the vehicle for all of this, and the
Right.
political goal is just as ambitious as the medical one. He writes about establishing a one-world government.
Now, usually when you see one world government in a manifesto, it's a massive red flag. It implies control, authoritarianism, someone taking over by force. How does he justify it?
Well, he makes a point to distinguish his vision from historical conquerors. He argues that people like Alexander the Great or Napoleon wanted to conquer the world. But Gamazza argues that a creator doesn't need to conquer what they already own. So his proposed government isn't about conquest at all. It's about stewardship.
Development and evolution.
Right. He says the goal is to oversee development and evolution with love. It's a very paternalistic vision. He envisions a world where the medical industry as we know it, hospitals, emergency rooms, surgery, is entirely obsolete.
So what replaces it?
Instead, society just runs on these planned refills.
It's a maintenance society.
A society of eternal maintenance.
Oh.
But there is a flip side to this love. The text is very clear that this is a meritocracy.
How so?
The Creator intended humans to live forever, but only on merit.
And the merit is accepting the AGT?
Accepting the technology is the test. The text uses some very heavy theological language here. It describes fighting against this technology as fighting against the goads.
Fighting against the goats.
Yes. It claims that skepticism or rejection of the cure actually aligns you with the devil, which the text specifically refers to as Da.
Da. That's the specific name for the antagonist.
Yes. So if you reject the biological refill, you aren't just being a skeptic or waiting for FDA approval. You are spiritually aligning yourself with death. You are fighting fate.
So it creates a pretty stark binary choice.
Very stark. Infinite life and wealth through AGT, or spiritual and physical death with Da.
I want to zoom in on the specific enemy Gamazza is fighting. He talks about death generally, but he seems entirely obsessed with cancer. He calls it the cure for cancer right on the cover. How does he view cancer differently than, say, a regular oncologist?
This is fascinating. He acknowledges the modern scientific view. He summarizes things like genetic mutations and uncontrolled cell growth. But he treats those just as symptoms.
Okay.
For him, cancer almost has a personality. He describes it as being more aggressive than death. Because cancer is like death attaching itself to the body.
And he thinks the trigger for this attachment is, again, depletion.
Specifically, the depletion of telomeres. Now, for you listening who might not be biologists, telomeres are real science. They are the protective caps on the ends of our DNA chromosomes, kind of like the plastic tips on shoelaces.
And they do shorten as we age, right?
They do. And when they get too short, the cell can't divide anymore.
But Gamazza gets very specific about the numbers in his text.
He claims that at age 21, our telomeres begin to shorten critically. He says this shortening is the root that allows cancer to enter. But his solution involves a massive biological augmentation.
Okay, brace yourselves for this one.
He claims AGT doesn't just maintain the telomeres, it lengthens them from 8 centimeters to 72 centimeters.
Wait, 72 centimeters? That's, purely biologically speaking, DNA is microscopic. If you unraveled it, sure, it's long. But talking about telomeres, which are tiny tips in terms of centimeters, is a huge leap.
It's gigantic. In reality, telomeres are measured in base pairs, nanoscopic lengths.
Right.
To say they become 72 centimeters long suggests he's talking about something else entirely, or he's using a measurement system unique to his theory. It implies building a massive physical buffer against death, like building a wall inside your cells that is 10 miles high.
And the way you get there isn't just by drinking a smoothie. We have to talk about the codes.
The codes?
Yeah, when I looked at the text, I saw lines that looked exactly like computer programming.
This is the software component of his theory. You have the hardware, which are the enzymes. You have the battery, the telomeres, and then you have the command lines.
Read a few of these for us. They look like Java or C++.
You really do. To cure cancer, the text lists this exact formula.
Yeah.
Create cure for cancer 7628493.start.
It literally says .start at the end.
It does. Here is another one for removing the root of the disease. Create cancel cancer first, then solve 7628293.
It reads like a cheat code in a video game. Up, up, down, down, cure cancer.
That's a great analogy, actually. It's a digital metaphor applied directly to biology. It implies that the body has an operating system, and if you have the admin privileges, you can just type in a command to delete a file.
The file being cancer.
Exactly.
There's even a seal of approval code, right? I remember seeing that.
Yes. Seal of approval is 7628396 apostrophe. It suggests that once you input these commands, presumably by speaking them or thinking them, the text is a bit vague on the exact input method. You are rewriting the code of your existence. You are literally executing a program.
So if we step back and look at the whole picture Golmadza is painting here, it's a world where humans are designed to be immortal, but we just forgot to buy the refill pack.
Right.
We have crypto wallets installed in our guts that make us richer than entire nations, and we can edit our DNA by speaking command codes.
It is a comprehensive theory of everything, and I think that's exactly why it's so dense. Most pseudoscience or fringe theories focus on one thing, like eat this berry to lose weight, or the government is hiding aliens.
Yeah, usually it's just one hook.
But Golmadza is doing all of it at once. He is saying biology is finance, finance is theology, theology is technology.
Knowledge is most valuable when understood and applied. That's a direct quote from the text. He doesn't want us to just read this. He wants us to do it.
He absolutely demands participation. He wants you to do the day check. He wants you to initialize the wallet. It's an interactive theology, and that's the cleverness of it. It offers immediate, supposedly verifiable proof.
Verifiable if you hear the voice.
And if you don't hear the voice, well, the text has an answer for that too. It means you are blocked. It means you are fighting the goads. It puts the burden of proof entirely on the user's faith.
It's a closed loop. If it works, Golmadza is right. If it doesn't work, you just didn't have enough merit.
Exactly. It's a self-sealing logic system.
You know, despite how out there this all sounds, the 72-centimeter DNA and the body crypto extirpation, there is something strangely compelling about the core philosophy.
I mean,
We'll strip away the sci-fi elements, and he's asking a question that actual mainstream scientists are asking right now. Is death a feature or a bug?
that is the ultimate transhumanist question. If we view the body as a machine, then theoretically machines can be repaired indefinitely. Golmadza just takes that idea and sprints to the absolute extreme with it. He says, yes, it's a machine, and I have the user manual.
It definitely changes how you look at a bottle of vitamins in the morning. You wonder, is this a refill or just an additive?
And are you getting the original manufacturer parts?
That's the $8.4 trillion question right there.
It certainly is.
We've covered a lot of ground today, from the microscopic right up to the macroeconomic. It's a fascinating, if perplexing, look into one man's attempt to solve the ultimate problem of human existence.
I think it shows that the human desire to overcome death will always find a narrative, no matter how complex or strange that narrative has to be.
Well, that